So blue circle is social environment. Yellow triangle is the process that the inner process that you go through. This yellow triangle represents the work of Edgar Schein and Kurt Lewin, who they have a very simple way of describing the change process as beginning with an assault on identity, your personal boundaries, your empowerment, leading to a critical moment of change or conversion, which I'm calling indoctrination, and a reconditioning process. They identified those three steps as unfreezing, change, and refreezing. I'm using the words assault, indoctrination, and reconditioning. This green circle represents the systems of influence. Janja Lalich and Frank K. Salter emphasized systems of affiliation and systems of dominance. Janja Lalich also talks about the aspects of internalization. So I've identified those three critical systems. That scared me. I've had police come up and do that to me.
It's an assault on your boundaries right now.
No.
Happy birthday, Steven!
Okay, so orange triangle. These are the targets. I guess I would call them universally. So do I need this now? Or we're still hooking up? Okay, so the targets in the person that are meant to be changed, I have identified as identity, behavior, and cognition, or attitudes, beliefs, that kind of thing. Kind of like how you think, how you act, and who you are. So now we'll go back to this sentence. How do systems of dominance affect identity when controls of information are imposed through assault? You know, so that's one sentence. How do systems of affiliation affect behavior when controls of connection are imposed through indoctrination? So you can kind of, and we can put this down now. Yeah, thank you. So this, I think it represents 81 statements or questions. It's not an exact science. It's a way of demonstrating how complex these systems work together. There's dimensions of control, and they interact with your inner process. That whole complexity is something that I don't think that has been explored enough in science. And I think that as we attempt to prevent abuse, we're going to have to really develop our understanding of how complex all these dimensions of control and experience work together to lead to trauma and an impairment of development. I think I might be done with my first half of my. Yeah, so so any questions right now? We'll take a break and then we'll go over the survey with the idea of developing a measurement scale that could be used to assess the overall coercive pressure in any social environment. So this survey, the research I've done, it's not, there's a lot of problems with my methodology. It's a small sample size, it's kind of biased. Trying to identify psychological abuse, I didn't make any attempt to survey people who didn't think they had been abused because I'm trying to identify abuse. So it's a biased population sample. The idea is to explore how we would explore the process of developing a way to measure potential for harm in any residential program. So it's a pilot study. I developed a list of 38 psychologically abusive or coercive dynamics that might be expected in residential treatment programs, or factors that we might expect to find. I developed each dynamic into a survey statement that could be rated by participants in the study. These factors were based on definitions of institutional and psychological abuse, scientific literature on cultic dynamics, methods of thought reform, news reports, descriptions of programs by residents, and my own personal experience. So basically what I did is I wrote down everything about programs that is not being addressed, and that's where the survey came from. Research was approved by Goddard College's review board, and I conducted the survey last year. So this paragraph is how I did the survey. I posted on various online Facebook groups for survivors and alumni, inviting them to participate. 41 people sent me an email saying they'd like to be in the survey. Out of those 41 people, 22 people returned the completed survey on time, or 20 returned the survey on time. I didn't pay anybody for participating in the survey, and everybody rated the overall experience as all negative or mostly negative, so it was a biased sample. 13 different programs were represented in my population sample. Siege, Straight Incorporated, Kids Helping Kids, Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center, Provo Canyon School, Cross Creek Manor, Paradise Cove, Dundee Ranch, Castle by the Sea, High Impact, New Bethany, Elon, and Carlbrook School. The time frame that these people were in treatment ranged from 1972 to 2004. The average length of time in treatment was 18 months. The average age at intake was 15 and I think 8 months. 15 years old, 15 years and 8 months old. So 1972 to 2004, the idea is, can I call this a technology? It's been in existence for 30 years now. These factors occur together. 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, well, can we call it a technology? That's one of my ongoing questions. Each survey statement was, I asked the participants to rate how true is this statement. So 0 is absolutely true, ranging up to 5. I mean, 0 is absolutely untrue, up to 5, which is absolutely true. And the idea was to take each statement and see how common is this factor in these 13 different programs. So I'll start reading out the survey statements, but there's a percentage given to each statement. And like I said, this is a pilot study. So if it's rated 100%, it means everybody said was absolutely true. 99% means everybody but one said it was absolutely true, and that one person ranked it as a 4, basically true. So it's given as a percentage, but it doesn't mean, well, this is absolutely 100% true. It's true of these participants. It's their perspective. So at this point, I'm going to just start reading survey items. And if you want, I flipped this around. This was my special surprise on the back. And the point of this conceptual model is to emphasize the fact that these stresses are simultaneously experienced. And these rays coming out are the statement factors on here, the top 30. 30 of them were rated at 95% or higher. So those 30 are what you see on here. These rubber bands represent, that's the stress pulling on the person. It's happening all at the same time. So my point is, multiple factors are occurring and contributing to coercion and psychological abuse.